Chelsea 4, Cardiff City 1. Chelsea go a goal behind early on, but use it as a wake-up call as Eden Hazard gets his second ever hat-trick for Chelsea Football Club, followed by a Willian screamer to seal the victory. The Blues now sit top of the league above Liverpool on goal difference. And to find out everything about the game as it happened, make sure you watch all of this review, and long may Chelsea's perfect start continue. Hello there guys, and welcome back to 100% Chelsea from a review of the Chelsea 4, Cardiff City 1 game. And you can't really ask for much more. Yes, a bit of a tricky start, going a goal down early on, but then after that it was just great. We're top of the league now, above Liverpool. It's just all coming up millers. And of course, this is the review. There will be fan cams out later on as well. There will be a vlog coming out as well. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you haven't already. And also don't forget to click the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads. And also, let's see whether we can hit 700 or more likes in this video. That'd be absolute class. So make sure you smash that like button down below. We'd massively appreciate it. But now getting into the review and starting it off by speaking about our lineup. And there was one, change in there that I didn't necessarily expect. But, let's go into it. And, of course, it was a 4-3-3 formation with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. The fullbacks being Cesar Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso. Two centre-backs being Antonio Rudiger and David Luiz ahead of Andreas Christensen, even though some people want Andreas Christensen to start. A midfield three of Jorginho, N'Golo Kanté and Mateo Kovacic. And then a front three of Eden Hazard on the left wing, Pedro on the right wing. But instead of Alvaro Morata, Olivier Giroud got the nod to start up front. If you watched from preview yesterday, you'll know that I expected Morata to start. So, like I said, I didn't expect Giroud to start, but, I didn't exactly mind it at all. And getting into the game, as it was to be expected, we had the majority of the ball early on, but except for two half chances for Giroud that he couldn't really have done much more with, we didn't really create much. Cardiff on the other end, though, sticking to long balls and hoping to win the second ball after the header. And they kind of brought them a few half chances and a few corners, that kind of thing. But after around 15 minutes, they got a free kick just 10 or maybe 15 yards into our half. But they hit that very long towards the left side of our box, basically, where Alonso lost the header and the Cardiff player managed to put the ball across, basically over every single player except for Sol Bamba on the far right, who basically got the tap in on the volley from very close range and was only kind of half marked by Jorginho. But the thing that annoyed me about the situation is, first of all, Alonso obviously shouldn't lose the header, far left, our far right kind of thing. But how on earth is it Jorginho that ends up trying to, keep Sol Bamba, who's a massive player, from scoring? Like, Jorginho is short, Jorginho is small, like physically. How does that work? Like, I realize that we don't do man marking, but zonal marking when defending set pieces, mostly anyway. But it still shouldn't happen that Jorginho ends up being on Sol Bamba. But, that wasn't a great start. Cardiff 1-0 up. But it sure seemed like we used it as a good bit of a wake-up call, as Kovacic then had two big chances in only a few minutes following Cardiff's goal. A decent shot from just outside the box, which forced a good save by the keeper. But just a few moments later, he missed an absolute hit that Kovacic did. A long ball by David Luiz towards Pedro on the left to laid it off to Giroud very nicely with a first-time volley. Giroud then backheeled it perfectly, again I think first time, into the path of Kovacic, who was then one-on-one with the keeper. The Croatian tried to pass it into the bottom right corner, but the keeper made an outstanding save with his outstretched foot to keep the ball out. Nonetheless, though, even though it was a good save, a very good save, one-on-one with the keeper, Kovacic shouldn't even give the keeper a chance to save it, and he should just bury it. It's as simple as that. And following those two chances by Kovacic, we created a few more chances where we almost got the goal. Pedro put a top-class curling effort with his weaker left foot just inches wide of the far post. Would have been an incredible goal that. Pedro had another chance as well, as he tried to lob the keeper from just outside the box but put the ball slightly over the bar. And a few minutes later, Pedro found himself with another very good chance in a lot of space inside the box, actually, following a low cross from the right, but properly mishit his first-time effort and put it way over. But only a few minutes after that chance for Pedro, in the 37th minute, Eden Hazard did get the equaliser for Chelsea. A very good pass from deep, Hazard stepping over it, letting the ball run through to Olivier Giroud while continuing his run as well. Giroud then passed it back to the Belgian first time, who with an incredibly smart first touch took himself and the ball around the defender, took the ball a slight bit further on and fired his shot away from the edge of the box into the bottom far corner. Unsavable finish by Hazard and a top-class goal overall. Very nicely played by Hazard himself to step over the pass. Giroud played to Hazard first time, like I said, that really good first touch by Hazard and a perfect finish. Like, that's what you want to see by him, and that's why people sometimes criticize us for not shooting more, because we know that's how well he can finish. That was outside the box, it was at an angle, so it wasn't just 18 yards, it was a good 20-21 yards probably to where he put it into the net, and it was just a perfect finish. So that's what we want to see. And in the 44th minute, the Belgians struck again to make it 2-1 before half time, even following some really good football and team play between Marcos Alonso, Pedro, Olivier Giroud and Hazard himself, although his finish did take a slight deflection to make it basically unsavable for the keeper. It was impossible to tell whether the keeper would have gotten to that, would have gotten to Hazard's effort without the deflection. I'm really not sure, but obviously he did go in with the deflection anyway. And it all started off with a quickly played free kick by Jorginho, a good 25 yards from goal, and then Alonso played in Pedro out on the left to pull the ball back with a low cross towards Olivier Giroud, who really had to stretch to get to the ball, but did so perfectly and laid the ball right into Hazard's feet. It took a touch and then back his second of the day, like I said, with the deflection. And that was then basically half-time at 2-1. Not a great start, conceding a poor goal with some poor defending early on, but then after that we really turned things on, creating chances almost for fun really, creating some very good chances as well, and eventually the best player in the Premier League being the one that takes the chances, that took the chances, and put us up by 2-1 before half-time, following 2 assists by the big Frenchman, Olivier Giroud. And we still look shaky from set pieces, like we still haven't really figured that out and solved that issue that we've been dealing with all season really, set pieces, we just don't look that good. But to be honest, going forward, after conceding, there is very little I can complain about, except for some of the finishing. It could easily have been like 3 or if not 4 at half-time. But going into the second half, Ross Barkley came on for Kovacic in the 50th minute already. The Croatian seemed to have picked up a knock and was forced to come off basically. But for the rest of the early part of the second half, really, we looked a bit more patient and calm, if you will, with Cardiff. Definitely not sitting back anywhere near as much as Newcastle and Bournemouth did against us, but instead trying to take the ball from us in midfield, which they were doing quite well here and there and forcing us into misplaced passes or, just basically taking the ball away from us, but more often than not we regained possession only moments later. But because they kind of tried to do that, we struggled to really get into the final third and create many chances, because the first real chance in the second half only was created with just over an hour played, as Rudiger made a very good run towards almost the edge of the box actually, where he then squared it to Pedro, who did really well to make, say a yard or so space for himself and to get the shot away, but put it slightly wide of the far left post. But then it was actually Cardiff with the next chance, who almost equalised through Bobby Reid after around 65 minutes as he put a curling effort along the floor just wide of the far post. Don't think Kepa would have gotten to that. So, we definitely needed another goal to shore things up in that game. After that chance, Willian then came on to replace Pedro. And while it was still calm and patient and, we looked in control with that, Bobby Reid chance, I just wasn't feeling safe. And I was kind of missing some intensity and some slight lack of trying to score another goal to just shore those 3 points up. And that basically changed a few moments after I basically put that down in my notes, because in the 80th minute, Willian was played through very nicely towards the right, outpacing Bamba, who then committed a very silly challenge inside the box to bring Willian down, even though the Brazilian was, clearly running away from goal and wouldn't really have been able to do that much from that position. But, it was a clear penalty. Bamba clearly brought him down. And of course, it was Eden Hazard who stepped up and did what he does, scoring from the penalty spot to get his second ever hat-trick for Chelsea Football Club. With his first one, if you didn't know, coming against Newcastle during the 13-14 season, and obviously that goal making it 3-1, basically killing the game off and securing the 3 points. But only a few minutes later, in the 83rd minute, Willian hits an absolute screamer from around 20 yards right into the far top corner. Incredible curler after deflected Alonso pass that then ended up with the Brazilian. And that goal obviously took away any sort of doubt remaining, about us getting 3 points today, with obviously making it 4-1. And then the last thing that happened was Zappacosta coming on for Eden Hazard right after Willian's goal. Basically Zappacosta just slotting in on the right wing with Willian on the left, basically just taking Hazard off to not risk any unnecessary injuries and at least saving him playing a few minutes after obviously 2 starts for Belgium last week as well. And then, basically just a few minutes before the end of the game, Kepa made actually a very good save with only, say, 5 minutes to go or so, following a good Cardiff header. Good reaction there, probably his best save in the Chelsea shirt thus far, but that was really it for the game and full time at 4-1. And it was a very good win after a bit of a shaky start. But that shaky start and conceding that goal fairly early on sure seemed to wake us up, because after that, Cardiff really didn't create much while we scored 4 goals ourselves. Good, if not very good attacking play, could have easily scored more, especially in the first half. Like I said, a slight lack of intensity before getting that 3rd goal in the second half, but for the majority, a very dominant performance and a very much deserved home victory. On individual performances, I can't really criticise much. Yes, both Alonso and Jorginho could have done better for the goal conceded, but the whole team seemed all over the place there. I still don't think that Jorginho should be the one ending up trying to keep Bamba from scoring. Alonso, yes, he lost that header, but sometimes you just lose a header. Yes, maybe David Luiz shouldn't have even committed that foul. Basically, it led to the goal, but that's all up to debate kind of thing. But after that, there was only really decent up to incredible performances from everyone, especially Eden Hazard, of course. Absolute top-notch performance, top-notch finishing, top-notch game overall, and obviously with his hat-trick, second ever hat-trick for Chelsea, like I said earlier. But I also want to pick out Olivier Giroud, who had a very good game himself, starting over Alvaro Morata today. And he's not necessarily a goal-scoring striker, even though he did find himself with 2 or 3 chances. but he certainly had was a big reason for Hazard getting his first 2 goals tonight. And Giroud's strength and first-time layoff passes are absolute top-notch. And he's just so important into kind of when he does play. He's so good for Hazard, for Pedro, for Kovacic, for Barkley, for those kind of players in the attacking part of, our system, if you will. And he's just so important to them because they can easily play those 1-2s with him, getting themselves into better positions, not necessarily putting the striker into great scoring positions, but themselves. And, when you put Hazard, I'd rather have Hazard in a great scoring position at the moment than Alvaro Morata. I'm not saying Alvaro Morata can't play well or, shouldn't play well or, that's the wrong saying, but, won't ever play well for us just because Giroud did so today. But, Giroud obviously, he had a really good game today and, credit where it's due. And, of course, also Willian's goal was absolute top draw as well. We now move top of the league on goal difference. Still level on points with Liverpool who beat Tottenham 2-1 at Wembley today. But, we move above them on goal difference. Watford could still, of course, in theory, overtake us as they're about to play Manchester United. But I doubt they'll win by 4 or more goals, which they'd need to overtake us, on goal difference, basically. And that's now 5 games played, 5 victories, 14 goals scored, joint highest with Manchester City, 4 goals conceded, which gives us the second best goal difference of +10, only behind Manchester City with +11. So, like I said, I already said it after the last game against Bournemouth, it is the perfect start, and this perfect start seems to continue. And, let's hope it can continue for, as we go into the part of the season with midweek games, starting away at Park in the Europa League on Thursday. But yeah, that's really it for me. Leave me all of your thoughts on the game down in the comment section below. There's no point really me asking for man of the match because Hazard, was incredible and got a hat-trick, so he's obviously man of the match. But any other thoughts you have on the game, leave me all of them down in the comment section below. Like I said in the beginning, let's see whether we can hit 700 or more likes in this video. We'd massively appreciate it, so make sure you smash that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check out my social media, which is last1507 on both Instagram and Twitter, as you can see over here, and also the links to both of them are down in the description below. And of course, this is YouTube, so if you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea, and also don't forget to click the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. What a win, what a start to the season. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.